Welcome to WNL Sports Weekly. I'm Jeremy Franklin. This week we'll speak with football player Joseph Campbell and women's swimming captain Caroline Hamp. But first, a quick look back at the weekend in Washington and Lee athletics. Volleyball captured the program's 15th ODAC title, defeating Virginia Wesleyan 3-2 in the semifinals and then topping Lynchburg 3-1 in the championship match in Ashland on Saturday. Women's soccer fell 1-0 to second-ranked Lynchburg on the road in the conference final, wrapping up the season at 15-2-1. Both swimming teams picked up victories, with the men defeating Hampton-Sydney 139-51 and the women topping Sweetbriar 137-63. Wrestling opened up its season with the 10th place finish at the Washington and Jefferson Invitational, and football lost a 40-36 shootout on the road against Catholic. I'm joined now by Joseph Campbell, senior football player from Danville, Virginia. Joseph, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
The Generals won 21 games over your first 3 seasons. Washington and Lee has struggled to a 1-8 record so far this year. How frustrating, how tough has this year been for you and your fellow seniors?
It's been very tough, Jeremy, especially because we came in when WNL was having a lot of success. The year before, they won the conference championship. My freshman year, we competed for it. My sophomore year, we even won it. So it's been tough to adapt to having a lot of losses, especially a lot of close losses. A lot of times the game's been down to the last play and things just haven't bounced our way. So it's been tough, and it's just been a different atmosphere and a lot of just pushing through the season and just fighting for the next win and the next game. So it's been just a little bit different for us going forward.
You came to Washington and Lee as a place kicker. You're now the Generals punter. What led you to become a special teams player?
So I actually never played football until my junior year of high school. I'd always played soccer, and a week before the football season, my junior year, my history teacher from freshman year, who works the scoreboard for the football games, informed me that the team desperately needed a kicker. So I came out, I went and talked to the head coach, kicked a few field goals, and I was on the team. I didn't actually expect to play college football, but I came and talked to Coach Abel during one of my visits to the school. He told me to apply, he'd love to have me on the team. So I got into the school and came in as a place kicker. And then halfway through my freshman year, they switched me to punting, told me to focus on that. So then I focused on punting, and sophomore year started as the punter. The first time I ever actually punted was the away game at Franklin and Marshall my sophomore year. So it's sort of been a little bit of a roller coaster ride for being a special teams player.
You've gone from averaging about 33 yards per kick as a sophomore to leading the ODAC with a 40.9 yard average this year. How have you been able to improve your punting game?
I think it's been mostly 2 things. 1, just my coaching, and 2, game experience. Now, we don't have an actual kicking coach, but Micah Fleet, who's a captain this year, was actually the long snapper his freshman year. He knows a lot about special teams. So after practice, every practice freshman year, he'd work on me with catching the football, kicking it, technique, and just remaining calm in a lot of the mental aspects of kicking. So I attribute a lot of my success to my coaching through him. Also, just game experience. It's hard to mimic the actual psychological and speed of a game that it is in practice. So just having the constant reps and being able to play in a lot of games has really helped me become a lot more calm, a lot more focused, and be able to perform better during the game.
There's a lot of great young talent on the Washington and Lee team, and a lot of those first years and sophomores have been thrust into big roles on the field this season. With that in mind, what kind of expectations do you have for the Generals in the near future?
It's going to be an exciting time to be part of the Generals football team. Like you said, a lot of young guys have stepped into a lot of captain-oriented positions, quarterback, middle linebacker, a lot of guys who lead their sides of the football. So I think going forward, a lot of these guys are having to adjust to the new game speed, going from high school to college, and sort of being thrust into those leadership roles, leading guys who are older than them, which is sort of unusual. So I think that with more game experience, more practice, and learning the offense and defense, the Generals have a bright future ahead of them, especially with the leadership from the sophomore and freshman class.
Joseph, thanks for joining us here. Good luck to the Generals against Shenandoah on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
With me now is Caroline Hamp, senior swimming captain from Avon Lake, Ohio. Caroline, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Washington and Lee has won all 5 of its events so far this year, including a first-place finish at the ODAC Relays, a dual meet win over Mary Washington. How pleased have you been with the first month of the season?
I'm super impressed. Everyone is swimming really fast. Our first meet was a great meet. We traveled to Louisville, and it was in a wonderful pool, good competition, and I think we put up times that were unexpected, fast. Much faster than we expected, and that was exciting. And then from there, we just dove into the season head first. Mary Washington is usually one of our top competitors, and we were happy to come away with a win with that. And not only a win, but just a really exciting meet. The guys ended up winning within the last 3 events, coming from behind. And that was a thrill. I got goosebumps during the 200 IM, which was exciting.
You've had a well-decorated career. You were the ODAC Rookie of the Year as a first year, ODAC Swimmer of the Year as a sophomore, and you've been first team all-conference all 3 years. What kind of personal expectations do you have as a senior?
Obviously, I would love to improve on my times, get a few more ODAC and school records. That would be great. But my top goal right now is actually nationals. NCAA's has been in the back of my mind for a while now, and I really think I have a chance in the 100 butterfly. I also would love to go in our 200 medley relay. Potentially a 400 medley relay as well. But that, of course, my success then relies on my teammates as well, and I have complete faith in them. We have been working so hard this year, and I can't imagine going to nationals if I were to make it without teammates. This for me is all about the team, and so I would love to share that experience with a good contingency from WNL.
Washington Italy travels to 8th-ranked Carnegie Mellon this weekend. The Franklin and Marshall Invitational in a couple of weeks should provide some great competition as well. What will the next 2 weeks tell you about the Generals?
The next 2 weeks are going to be grueling. Our practices don't get any easier. We don't rest or taper for any of these meets. Our lifting is continuing to get harder as well. So we have to go into these big meets, these very fast meets, without a lot of rest and under a lot of pressure. So I think these are going to be they're going to test us, but I think we can live up to it. We have a really young team. We have a really energetic team. So I think that energy is just going to push us through the next 2 weeks. And I think the competition, we're going to thrive under it.
What are the team's goals for 2014-15?
We always want to go into ODACs with a winning mindset, and that's a huge team goal. And because of that, we really need to focus on just daily goals, focusing on practice, being fully aware of all the little things. But I think one of our big goals is also not a very tangible goal. It's not really time-oriented. It's just out-teaming other teams and really being the loudest to cheer, the most supportive, the most caring. We're a family, and we want to live that every day.
Caroline, thanks for joining us here. Best of luck throughout the season.
Thank you so much.
It's time now for a look at the upcoming weekend. Volleyball travels to Wittenberg College for an 8-team NCAA regional. The Generals face Mount Union in the first round on Thursday. On Saturday, Berry College will host the NCAA South-Southeast Cross Country Regional. The men's race starts at 9:30, with the women's meet slated for 11. Riding will compete in the Sweetbriar Invitational, while men's and women's swimming head to Pittsburgh to face Carnegie Mellon and Allegheny. And football wraps up the season at home against Shenandoah. Women's basketball opens up its 2014-15 campaign at home against Mary Baldwin, and the men's team tips off against Hood in a tournament at Gettysburg College. Wrestling plays host to a quad meet on Sunday, taking on Lycoming, Ohio Northern, and Huntington. Men's hoops will continue action in the Gettysburg tournament, while the women entertain Methodist. For WNL Sports Weekly, I'm Jeremy Franklin. Thanks for watching.